Welcome to the Do Zone, where entrepreneurs go to get things done. I'm your host, Josh Thomas. You can find me on all social media at JT Literally. Each week, I bring on experts from a variety of backgrounds to share their secrets on how to optimize performance so you can take massive action, crush your goals. Speaking of optimizing performance, did you know the average response time for online inquiries is 47 hours? Brutal. Our AI powered assistants respond within 9 seconds. So speed to lead is important to you, and it should be because customers typically move on if you don't get back to them within 5 minutes. Get your AI powered assistant today. It takes less than 10 minutes to set up. It requires no tech skills whatsoever. You can learn more by going to anabots.ai. Once again, that's anabots.ai. Today's guest is Deevo Tindall. He is known as the brand storyteller. He's a distinguished podcast host of Unlearn Everything and a holistic branding strategist. He has curated a portfolio of successful brands, each distinguished by its authentic message and immersive experience. With over 15 years of corporate experience under his belt, Deevo ventured into entrepreneurship to redefine brand narratives with innovation and authenticity. Deevo, welcome to the Do Zone. Tell us something you believe is the key to getting stuff done that most people wouldn't think of.
First of all, I love that little tidbit on the 47 hours. I sort of gaffed at that, but
Ooh, it's
it's
true.
a lot of times I have people on the phone that call me and be like, I left a message for this, that, and the other, and it's like a week later and I still haven't heard. So I guess I'm not that surprised because we have the same thing. It's 24 hours or nothing. Like that's it. There's no exceptions to it.
Yeah,
One
indeed.
small tidbit, small incremental habits. They compound over time to create whatever it's your goals, your disciplines, whatever it is. Just instead of focusing it from setting goals, start changing small little habits one day at a time.
1% ever better every day.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'm curious about is uh, holistic branding. I need to understand a little bit more what that is because I know what holistic is. I know what branding is. What does that mean together?
I like it. Um, it's a couple of things, really. I think a lot of people have a misnomer as what branding is, first and foremost. So let's clarify that piece. Branding is not just your logo or your website. It's everything that your customer perceives about you. It's everything that you share with your customer. It's your social media, it's your web. It's literally everything about your brand. So what you say, what you do, how you do it. And so a holistic approach in branding is taking all of those pieces of the puzzle, right? That holistic purview, and then strategically aligning that with a purposeful brand message so that when you're connecting with your audience, when you're talking on social media, when you're selling, when you're on podcasts like this, you're always sort of consistently selling and telling the same story so that people start to understand and then know, like, and trust what it is you bring to the table. But most importantly, what problem do you solve?
There's something that stands out to me about what you just said. As entrepreneurs, we sometimes we try to get cute because we think it's boring to say the same thing over and over. And well, I just talked about that last week.
Hmm.
But what you miss is 98% of your audience didn't even see that thing you talked
Hmm.
about last week. So you should probably say it again.
Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid. I actually was in a meeting this morning and we had a moderator that was talking about he's a multi-billionaire, the most humble dude I've ever met. And the guy is talking about his secrets to how he built his business over the last 40 years. He's a real estate developer here in my hometown of Charlotte. And he said he went out of business 24 years ago. He went bankrupt because he was trying to complicate things. And so one of the things that he shifted in his strategy going forward is that what is the core elements that they do well and how can they do those in the most simplified manner without complicating anything. And so his key to running a successful business, and it's a multi-billion dollar business now, is keep it small, keep it simple. I just thought that was a fantastic message. So it's parrots and jumps on what you just said. It's like, don't overcomplicate the thing, man. Just do the thing that you do the best and share that message with people so everybody knows exactly what you do. And if they like it, then that's your customer, right?
Yeah, and if they don't like it, that's not your customer, and that's actually just fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, take a look at is there something you did wrong in that process, or are there other people who do like your product? That might be the people you want to market to. That's not the people. It's not your job to try to convince someone to take your product. It's your job to present make sure you have your quality in place, make sure you have your all of the things that work and make your thing work, and make sure that you're able to share that message with people. And that's how you connect with people.
So, the idea of being an architect of business brands, what are the steps that you take to really build a holistic brand for someone from the ground up, like all the way back to the design phase? We're putting pencil to paper. What are the first kind of key elements that you really need to construct for a new brand?
Thank you for that question. I'm going to draw out that word architect that you used in the beginning. So just like building a house, building a brand, or building a business, it has to have a foundation. It has to have a blueprint, right? And so the first thing that any business should do, and this is where we start with all of our clients, is a brand discovery. And in that brand discovery, really setting the stage for the blueprint of what this business could potentially become. What's its potential? And then how do you fill in all the different pieces so that your potential can materialize, right? So what do you stand for? What's your purpose? Why did you build this business in the first place? Who are you? What do you do? Who's your customer? Who are your customers? Maybe you have multiple avatars. But most importantly, what problem do you solve for these people that you're asking to give you their time, their energy, their resource? So, what are you going to give them in exchange with this solution? And so, it's really important that once you have that blueprint solidified, that forms the foundation of your business. And then once you have that foundation, then you can start talking about the marketing of that foundation, right? So we built the foundation of the house. Now we put the infrastructure in place. Everything is looking great. We've put the paint on, the plumbing's working, electricity's going. Now, how do we tell people that this house is ready to be moved into, right? And so that's where marketing takes over. And that solution is different for everybody because not everybody kind of goes at it from the same recipe, right? And so you might be, social media might be your thing, YouTube might be yours, whatever it is, coming up with a tailored strategy that's going to speak to your ideal audience, and then proliferating that over time and being very, very consistent about it.
Yeah, and I like the idea of, we gotta get clear of, well, what are the ingredients, what are the components that we need to put in place? And then how do we set a really truly strong foundation? And
Mm-hmm.
those are the things that I've personally missed many times. I've built a lot of businesses, most of them have failed, and I'm not afraid to admit
I
it.
failed a few too, so I feel you on
Yeah,
that one.
yeah, not afraid to
But it's
admit
not a
that.
failure, man. What did you learn from that experience?
Sometimes I learned that not enough to avoid the mistake. I did
Well, I mean
not
that
learn enough to realize that you should not do that again.
well, that's
But
still a lesson.
it's still a lesson, yeah.
Still a lesson.
Eh, And so the thing that I noticed, back to your original comment about the guy that said keep it small, keep it simple. Uh, I every time I created something that was like, I'm everything to all the people, it just never worked.
Hmm.
And when I boiled down to, I do one thing really well, that kind of worked. And then there's one more secret ingredient. I want to ask you about this. One more secret ingredient that I've noticed has made a huge impact is, are you talking about something that's trending up?
Mm,
And there's a lot of people, a lot of old people with gray hair that have a bunch of money building boring businesses that nobody's talking about.
mm,
But if you don't have that kind of time, one extra little rocket fuel you can put in there is to make sure that you're in business that people are talking about and people are interested in and people are looking for and actively seeking.
mm,
One example I can give right now is AI. We're in AI right now, and the boost of the fact that everybody's talking about it and curious about it and kind of like distrustful, and there's like a hot topic and it's polarizing, it really helps boost everybody that's doing it, at least right now. And I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. Just adding that little bit of sauce of something that's actually actively trending up right now.
it's a great
And you can
question.
totally disagree with
Yeah.
everything I just said, but
Yeah, no, don't worry. I'll tell you if I disagree. I agree and disagree. I think that it's really important that you stay true to your core, what it is that you do best, first and foremost. And in the process of trying to stay relevant, don't water that down or oversaturate that with experimenting with stuff too much. I would say have your core product, have your core market, continue to communicate with them, but always have your eyes on innovation and how can you make that process more effective, more impactful for your customer. And if that means integrating AI, then don't be afraid to play in that sandbox. If that means hiring someone else that does something better than you, don't be afraid to go that route. I wouldn't say necessarily to jump on a trend just because it's trending, because we know trends are not timeless. Some of them are, most of them are not. But take a long, hard look at it. Don't be a diehard, stodge old fogey that doesn't want to try something because they've never done that. Like, I
Yeah.
hate that whole phrase. Well, this is how we've always done it. Well, that might be why you're about to be irrelevant pretty soon. So if it still works, don't change it. Like, we've heard that paradigm. But at the same time, be flexible, be nimble, be willing to explore the things that might have adaptations to them that could make your process better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think another way to kind of bridge the gap on that, it sounds like, is make sure you're actually selling something people want.
100%. What problem do you solve?
Yeah.
That's really, for me, that's everything. How can I create a product? If it's this rock that I just found sitting outside when I was on my walk, so pretty, right? Just all smooth.
It's
If I'm going to
gorgeous.
start selling these rocks, okay, that's great. I think it's beautiful, but Josh, you might not give a shit about rocks. So it's really important for me to say, how can I figure out something this rock can do for somebody else who's going to give me a resource exchange in the form of money, time, energy, whatever it is, so that I can continue to replicate and get these rocks out on the market. And so it's really important to understand, what do you bring to the table? Be very, very clear on that brand message, the solution that you're presenting, and then be able to share that with an audience.
Yeah, awesome. And so, Devo, tell us a little bit more about what you do and who's a good fit to reach out to you, how they can do it.
Thank you. I work with entrepreneurs and small business owners who are either scaling, are already well in business and have already established a brand, but are looking to either add new product lines to it or looking to evolve their business. I work with a lot of CEOs who are, I call them aging CEOs, but they're highly professional CEOs who have spent a long time either in their entrepreneurial gig or their corporate gig, and they're looking for something bigger and better to do. So I help them also develop their personal brand, which is whether it's showing up on podcasts like this, but just showing up in a larger, more organic state so they can solve the problem that they do best. And we're located in Charlotte, North Carolina, and you can find us on the brand storyteller.com.
Excellent. Well, hey, we're going to wrap up from here. Thanks so much to our guest, Deevo Tindall, for joining us, sharing a little bit of wisdom about how he gets stuff done. For those of you who want to connect with him directly, you can check out what was that link one more time?
The brand storyteller.com.
Thebrandstoryteller.com. Can't wait to check that out. Whether you're on your morning commute, in the gym, or somewhere out in the field, snap a selfie, tag me at JT Literally. Show me what you do while you're in the do zone. And one more time, if you're looking to boost sales, cut costs, and free up your time for higher value tasks, Anabots will build a custom AI assistant for your business so you can get more done in less time. You can learn more by going to anabots.ai. Hey, that's it. Let's get to work. Hey, thanks for listening to the Do Zone podcast. If you're running a service-based business that's looking to grow this year, let's talk about how we can slingshot you into momentum with a quick injection of cash and sales. Our clients typically see results in as little as 7 days. To learn more about what we do, you could go to factor1.io. Once again, that's factor1.io. We'll see you next time.